Writing a job application. Key success factors. Black circle using appropriate, professional-sounding language. Conveying a positive image of yourself. Without appearing overconfident or arrogant, avoiding basic mistakes which will make you look careless. Analyzing a model text. You see the following job advertisement on a travel company website. Would you be interested in applying for the job? Why not? Question mark. Receptionist. Location. Edinburgh. The receptionist is the first point of contact for staff and visitors. The role involves a variety of tasks including answering and directing calls, welcoming visitors, scheduling meetings, and general admin support. Core hours are 8 a.m. - 6 p.m. and you will need to be available to work earlier shifts some days and later shifts other days. About you. The ideal candidate will have a customer-focused personality with a strong can-do attitude. We're looking for someone with proven communication skills for liaising with individuals at all levels in a very fast-moving environment. Interested? The closing date for applications is Wednesday the 18th of June. Click Apply before this opportunity flies away. Apply. B. Read the first draft of an email written in response to the advertisement. What information does Agatha give in the 3 main paragraphs? From Agatha Beck to Irina Foster at Best Travel. Net subject. Application. Ms. Dear Miss Foster, my name is Agatha Beck. I am writing to apply for the post of receptionist advertised in your website. 1. I have recently graduated from Humboldt University in Berlin, where I completed a degree in business studies. I have a high level of spoken English. C1 on the CEFR. As I lived in the United States during 6 months as part of an exchange program between my school and a high school in Utah. I made many American friends during this period, but we lost touch when I came home. 2. As you will see from my CV, I have some relevant experience because I am currently an intern at a leading German travel company. I have worked in various roles, including marketing assistant and administrator, and my tasks have included organizing and running meetings, and dealing with clients by phone and email. The director of company would be happy to provide a reference. He is, in fact, my uncle. 3. I am very enthusiastic on traveling and would welcome the chance to be part of such a high-profile and successful company. I believe I would be suitable for the job advertised as a part of my work experience. I am an outgoing person and get on well with people. Friends describe me as calm and conscientious, and I would enjoy the variety and excitement the job would offer. I would definitely not panic when things got busy. I attach a full CV, and if you require further information, I would be very happy to provide it. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours sincerely, Agatha Beck. Improving your first draft. Check your writing for correct paragraphing, mistakes, irrelevant information, and language which is in an inappropriate register. C. Read the draft email again and try to improve it. 1. Cross out 3 sentences, not including the example, which are irrelevant or inappropriate. 2. Correct 10 more mistakes in the highlighted phrases, including spelling, capital letters, grammar, and vocabulary. D. If you were a manager at the travel company, would you have given Agatha an interview if she had sent her first draft? Useful language. E. Look at 1 to 9 below. How did Agatha express these ideas in a more formal way? Use the bold words to help you remember. Then look at the model email again to check your answers. 1. This letter is to ask you to give me the job of receptionist. Apply. 2. I've just finished uni, where I did business studies. Graduate degree. 3. I can speak English very well. Hi. 4. I've done this kind of job before. Relevant. 5. My tasks have included talking to people on the phone. Deal, clients. 6. I'd love to work for such a famous company. Welcome, high profile. 7. I'm sending a full CV with this email. Attach. 8. If you need to know anything else, I'll tell you. Require, provide. 9. Hope to hear from you soon. Forward. B. Compare notes with a partner and discuss how relevant you think each other's information is, what you think you should leave out, and what else you might want to include. Tips for writing a covering email, letter to apply for a job, grant, etc. Use appropriate sentences to open the email, letter. Organize the main body of the email, letter into clear paragraphs. Use a suitable style. Don't use contractions or very informal expressions. Use formal vocabulary where appropriate, e.g., require instead of need, as instead of because. The use of a conditional can often sound more polite, e.g., I would welcome the chance to... When you say why you think you are suitable for the job, be factual and positive, but not overconfident. Be careful not to sound arrogant. Use appropriate phrases to close the email, letter. Planning what to write. Read the job advertisement and underline the information you will need to respond to. Then make notes about. Black circle any qualifications you have. Black circle any relevant experience you could include. Black circle what aspects of your personality you think would make you suitable for the job and how you could illustrate them. Black circle any other information you think you need to include. Global Festival staff required to work at Stage Global Stage UK, a world music event in the UK west of England, from 12th to the 14th of July. Responsibilities. To ensure the safety and comfort of the public and to assist in the running of a successful festival. To help to manage any crowd-related problems, including maintaining a state of calm to minimize injury. To prevent unauthorized access to the site by members of the public. Requirements. You must be aged 18 over on the date of the festival and be eligible to work in the UK. You must be physically fit and healthy and able to work under pressure in a demanding environment. You should speak English well and have some experience of dealing with the public. How to apply. Send an email and full CV to Emma Richards. Richards@globalstage.org. Writing. You have decided to apply for the festival job advertised. Write a covering email of between 220 and 260 words. Draft your email. Write an introductory sentence to explain why you are writing. Paragraph 1. Give personal information including skills and qualifications. Paragraph 2. Talk about any relevant experience you have. Paragraph 3. Explain why you think you would be suitable for the job. Finish the email appropriately. Edit the email, checking paragraphing, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the email for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.13. Writing an article. Key success factors. Getting and keeping the reader's attention. Black circle using rich and precise vocabulary. Having a clear structure that is easy to follow. Analyzing a model text. You're going to read an article about childhood covering the areas below. What information would you include if you were writing about your country? What are the main differences between children's lives 50 years ago and children's lives now? Why have these changes occurred? Do you think the changes are positive or negative? B. Now read the article. Did the writer include any of your ideas? With a partner, choose the best title from the three below and say why you prefer it to the others. The Lost Joys of Childhood. Children of the Past. My Forgotten Childhood. C. Answer the questions with a partner. 1. What is the effect of the direct question in the introduction? Where is it answered? 2. What does paragraph 1 focus on? What examples are given? 3. What are the changes that the writer focuses on in paragraph 2 and what reasons are given for the changes? Do you agree? 4. Underline the discourse markers that are used to link the points in paragraphs 2 and 3, e.g. First. Children's lives have changed enormously over the last 50 years. But do they have happier childhoods today? 1. It's difficult to look back on one's own childhood without some element of nostalgia. I have 4 brothers and sisters, and my memories are all about being with them. Playing board games on the living room floor, or spending days outside with the other neighborhood children, racing around on our bikes or exploring the nearby woods. My parents hardly ever appear in these memories, except as providers either of meals or of severe reprimands after some particularly hazardous adventure. 2. In the UK at least, the nature of childhood has changed dramatically since the 1970s. First, families are smaller and there are far more only children these days. It is common for both parents to work outside the home, and far fewer people have the time to bring up a large family. As a result, boys and girls today spend much of their time alone. Another major change is that youngsters tend to spend a huge proportion of their free time at home, inside. This is often due to the fact that parents worry much more than they used to about real or imagined dangers, so they wouldn't dream of letting their children play outside by themselves. 3. Finally, the kinds of toys children have and the way they play is totally different. Computer and video games have replaced the board games and more active pastimes of my childhood. The fact that they can play the games on their own further increases the sense of isolation felt by many young people today. The irony is that so many of these games are called interactive. Do these changes mean that children today have a less idyllic childhood than I had? I personally believe that they do, but perhaps every generation feels exactly the same. Useful language. Using synonyms. Try not to repeat the same words and phrases too often in your writing. Instead, where possible, use a synonym or similar expression if you can think of one. This will both make the article more varied for the reader and help to link it together. A good monolingual dictionary or thesaurus can help you. Define synonyms in the article for the following words and phrases. 1. At the present time. 2. Children. 3. Alone, without adults. Using richer vocabulary. You can make your writing more colorful and interesting to read by trying to use a richer range of vocabulary instead of the most obvious words. How are the words in italics expressed in the article to make the style more interesting? 1. Spending days outside with the other children who lived near us. 2. Going around fast on our bikes. 3. My parents don't appear very often in these memories. 4. After some particularly dangerous adventure. 5. The nature of childhood has changed in a big way. 6. Usually both parents work outside the home. 7. That children today have a less happy childhood than I had. Planning what to write. A look at the exam question. Many aspects of life have changed over the last 30 years. These include dating, communication, education. Write an article for an online magazine about how one of these areas has changed in your country, and say whether you think these changes are positive or negative. With a partner, brainstorm for each topic. 1. What the situation used to be like. 2. How the situation has changed in your country. 3. Whether you think the changes are positive or negative and why. Now decide which topic you're going to write about and which ideas you want to include. B. Think of a possible title for your article. Tips for writing an article. There is no fixed structure for an article, but it is important to have clear paragraphs. Use discourse markers to link your points or arguments. Use a suitable style, neither very formal nor very informal. Think about who your target reader is. Choose an interesting or provocative title that makes people want to read the article. Make the introduction short. You could ask a question or questions which you then answer in the article. Try to engage the reader, e.g., by referring to your personal experience. Vary your vocabulary, using synonyms where possible. Writing. Write an article of about 260 words. Draft your article, using the topic and title you worked on in the planning stage. Write a brief introduction which refers to the changes and asks a question. Write 2 or 3 main paragraphs saying what the situation used to be like and how it has changed. Write a final paragraph which sums up your feelings. If you asked a question in the introduction, then you should answer that question. Edit the article, checking paragraphing, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the article for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.17. 0. Writing a review. Key success factors. Black circle summarizing main events in the plot in a concise way. Black circle using a wide range of vocabulary to describe plot, characters, etc. Expressing a reasonably sophisticated opinion. Analyzing a model text. Which of the following would normally influence you to read a book? A friend of yours recommended it. Black circle, it's a bestseller, everybody is reading it. Black circle, you saw and enjoyed a film based on it. Black circle, you were told to read it at school. Black circle, you read a good review of it. B. Read the book review. In which paragraph, 1 to 4, do you find the following information? Write DS if the review doesn't say. Does the review make you want to read the book? Why not? Question mark. The strong points of the book. The basic outline of the plot. What happens in the end. Where and when the story is set. The weakness. S. Of the book. Whether the reviewer recommends the book or not. Who the author is. Who the main characters are. Who the book is published by. Who the book will appeal to. C. Look at these extracts from a first draft of the review. Which words in the bold phrases did the reviewer leave out or change to make it more concise? Then read the participle clauses box to check. 1. A thriller which is set in the present day in a small town in Missouri, USA, it immediately became an international bestseller. 2. A couple, Nick and Amy Dunn, who are now living in Nick's hometown of Carthage. 3. Nick owns a bar, which was opened with his wife's money, which he runs with his sister Margot. 1. Gone Girl is the third novel by American writer Gillian Flynn. A thriller set in the present day in a small town in Missouri, USA, it immediately became an international bestseller. 2. The main characters in the novel are a couple, Nick and Amy Dunn, now living in Nick's hometown of Carthage after Nick lost his job. The STSELLER. No one. That is. Gone Girl. Gillian Flynn. As a journalist in New York City. Nick owns a bar, opened with his wife's money, which he runs with his sister Margot. On the day of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick discovers that Amy is missing. For various reasons, he becomes a prime suspect in her disappearance. The first half of the book is told in the first person, alternately by Nick and then by Amy through extracts from her journal. The two stories are totally different. Nick describes Amy as stubborn and antisocial, whereas she makes him out to be aggressive and difficult. As a result, the reader is left guessing whether Nick is guilty or not. In the second half, however, the reader realizes that neither Nick nor Amy have been telling the truth in their account of the marriage. The resulting situation has unexpected consequences for Nick, Amy, and the reader. 3. The great strength of this book is how the characters of Nick and Amy are revealed. Despite having the typical devices common to thrillers. For example, several possible suspects and plenty of red herrings, the novel is also a psychological analysis of the effect of failure and unfulfilled dreams on someone's personality. My only criticism would be that the first half goes on too long and perhaps could have been slightly cut down. Not only is this a complex and absolutely gripping novel, but it also tackles real problems in society, such as the unhappiness that is caused by economic difficulties, and the effect of the media on a crime investigation. For all lovers of psychological thrillers, Gone Girl is a must. Glossary. Red herring, an unimportant fact, event, idea, etc. that takes people's attention from the important one. Read it now, it's that good. Participle clauses. The writer uses participles. Set, living, opened. Instead of a subject plus verb. Past participles replace verbs in the passive, and present participles. Ing forms. Replace verbs in the active. The subject of the clause is usually the same as the subject of the main clause. Participle clauses can be used. Black circle instead of a conjunction. After, as, when, because, although, etc. Closing parenthesis. Plus subject plus verb, e.g. having run out of money. Dot. Dot. Instead of because she has run out of money. Dot. Dot. Black circle instead of a relative clause, e.g. set in the present day, opened with his wife's money instead of which is set. Dot. Dot. Which was opened. Dot. Dot. When you use a participle clause, you do not need to link the next clause with and, e.g. it is set in 1903 and it tells the story of a young girl. Dot. Dot. Set in 1903, it tells the story. Dot. Dot. D. Rewrite the sentences, making the highlighted phrases more concise by using participle clauses. 1. As she believes him to be the murderer, Anya is absolutely terrified. 2. Amal, who was forced to marry a man she did not love, decided to throw herself into her work. 3. Simon, who realizes that the police are after him, tries to escape. 4. It was first published in 1903 and it has been reprinted many times. 5. When he hears the shot, Mark rushes into the house. 6. It is based on his wartime diaries and it tells the story of a young soldier. Useful language. Look at the highlighted adverbs. What effect do they have on the words that follow? The two stories are totally different. Dot. 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 And perhaps could have been slightly cut down. F. Cross out any adverbs that don't fit in these sentences. Tick. Closing parenthesis. If all are possible. 1. My only criticism is that the plot is somewhat, slightly, a little implausible. 2. The last chapter is really, very, absolutely fascinating. 3. The end of the novel is rather, pretty quite disappointing. 4. The denouement is absolutely, incredibly, extremely thrilling. Planning what to write. Think of a book or film that you have read or seen recently. Make a list of the main points about the characters and plot that you should cover in a review. Don't include a spoiler. B. Exchange your list with other students to see if they can identify the book or film. Tips for writing a book, film review. Choose a book or film that you know well. Organize the review into clear paragraphs. Use a suitable style, neither very formal nor very informal. Give your reader a brief idea of the plot, but do not give away the whole story. This is only part of your review, so choose only the main events and be as concise as possible. Use the present tense when you describe the plot. Using participle clauses will help to keep it concise. Use a range of adjectives that describe as precisely as possible how the book or film made you feel, e.g. gripping, moving, etc. Opening parenthesis. See p.37. Dot. Use adverbs of degree to modify them, e.g. absolutely gripping. Remember that an effective review will include both praise and criticism. Writing. A student magazine has asked for reviews of recent books and films. Write a review of between 220 and 260 words. Draft your review. Paragraph 1. Include the title of the book or film, the genre, the author or director, and where, when it is set. Paragraph 2. Describe the plot, including information about the main characters. Paragraph 3. Talk about what you liked and any criticisms you may have. Paragraph 4. Give a summary of your opinion and a recommendation. Edit the review, making sure you've covered all the main points, checking paragraphing, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the review for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.39. 22. Writing a proposal. Key success factors. Organizing your proposal under headings describing the current situation. Black circle, making logical and persuasive recommendations related to your observations or research. Being clear and concise. Analyzing a model text. The managers of a language school would like to expand the business and increase the number of students attending each year. They ask some students to carry out a survey and then write a proposal on how to achieve this. Read the proposal. What recommendations do the students make in the 3 areas? B. Replace the highlighted phrases with the more formal expressions used in the proposal. 1. What this proposal is for is ... The is ... 2. Is to say what things could be better with the classes and facilities. Is to the classes and facilities. 3. In general, students think the teachers are very good. In general, students. 4. About the size of the classes, we suggest that there should never be more than 12 students in a class. We suggest that there should never be more than 12 students in a class. 5. As for how long the classes last, lessons officially last an hour. Lessons officially last an hour. 6. First, we suggest buying more computers. We suggest more computers. 7. Most students studying at King James at the moment are positive. Are positive. 8. That if you make the changes we suggest, student numbers could be increased by as much as 10%. That student numbers could be increased by as much as 10%. Introduction. KJ. Language School. A proposal. The King James Language School is a successful business which attracts a reasonable number of students every year. However, the school managers think that these numbers could be increased, so we carried out a satisfaction survey with existing students. The aim of this proposal is to suggest a range of improvements to the classes and facilities at the school in order to attract new customers. 1. The classes. In general, students rate the quality of teaching very highly. However, there are some criticisms about class size and the length of classes. As regards class size, we suggest that there should never be more than 12 students in a class. Regarding class duration, lessons officially last an hour, but in practice they are usually only 45 minutes because of latecomers. As a result, we propose that all students who arrive more than 5 minutes late should have to wait until the next break for admittance. 2. The Self-Study Center. It is generally thought that the Self-Study Center, while useful, has 2 major drawbacks. There are not enough computers, and at peak times they are always occupied. In addition, the center closes at 7 p.m. So students who come to the later classes cannot use the center at all. To address these issues, we suggest, firstly, purchasing more computers, and secondly, extending the opening hours to 9 p.m. 3. The cafeteria. The cafeteria was recently replaced by vending machines for drinks and snacks. While there's no doubt that people often had to wait quite a long time to be served, feedback shows that most students greatly prefer to have a cafeteria on the premises. Our final proposal is that the cafeteria should be reopened, serving both healthy snacks and hot meals. Conclusion. Overall, the majority of students currently attending courses at King James are positive about the school and its facilities. We strongly believe that if the suggested changes are implemented, student numbers could be increased by as much as 10%. FRENA 1 i.e. Useful language. C. Complete the missing words. Some, but not all, are in the model proposal. Some common expressions for generalizing. 1 in G. 2 generally SP. 4 the general V. Be made. People think. ... 3 it is generally co. 5 OV. People think. ... Thought. ... Is that certain improvements need to. The majority of students think. ... D. Rewrite the sentences to make them more formal. Making recommendations. 1 why don't you make the classes smaller? We propose. 2 it would be much better if classes lasted an hour. It would be far preferable for classes. 3 please buy new computers. We suggest. 4 the opening hours should be extended until 9 p.m. It would be advisable. 5 you really should open the cafeteria again. We strongly recommend. Planning what to write. Read the following task and study the relevant information. Then, with a partner, decide. 1 how many headings you will need and what they should be. 2 how to express the main issues in your own words. Your school would like to increase the number of students going on 4-week study trips to the UK. You have been asked by the school principal to write a proposal with recommendations for getting more students to go on these trips. You have got feedback from the students who went on the most recent trip, including what they were positive about and what problems they had, and you have made the following notes. People with families much happier than ones who stayed in the halls of residence, because they were able to practice their English with the families. School okay and classes good, but almost everyone complained about the lunch. Just a sandwich. Some thought 6 hours of classes a day too much. People not very keen on some weekend cultural programs. Trips to London and Oxford great, to Bath and Stratford boring. On all trips, too much sightseeing and not enough time for shopping. Be together, suggest improvements to the study trips, beginning with a different expression from D each time. Tips for writing a proposal. Look carefully at who the proposal is for and what they want to know. This will help you choose what information you have to include. Decide what the sections of the proposal are going to be and think of headings for them. In the introduction, state clearly what the purpose of the proposal is. For each paragraph, explain the situation and make a recommendation. Don't forget to say if something is good, as well as bad. Use an appropriate style, avoiding very informal expressions. Try not to use exactly the same words as in any information you are given. Use a variety of expressions for generalizing and making recommendations. Writing. Write a proposal of between 220 and 260 words. Draft your proposal, using the headings and recommendations you worked on in the planning stage. Edit the proposal, making sure you've covered all the main points, checking paragraphing, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the proposal for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.53. 124. Writing a discursive essay. 1. A balanced. Key success factors. Constructing an argument on both sides. Writing an effective introduction and conclusion. Black circle using appropriate discourse markers to contrast and balance points. Analyzing a model text. You have been asked to write the following essay. Do smartphones really improve our lives? With a partner, discuss 3 reasons why you think smartphones make our lives better and 3 reasons why they do not. Order them 1 to 3 according to their importance, with 1 as the most important. B. Read the essay and check if the writer has mentioned some or all of your arguments. Where does the writer put the main argument in each paragraph? Do smartphones really improve our lives? Introduction. Arguments in favor. Perhaps the greatest benefit of smartphones is that they allow us to access an incredible amount of information. They are not just phones, we can also use them as maps, encyclopedias, novels, entertainment systems, and much more. We live in an age of information, and smartphones help us to make the most of it all. In addition, they allow us to live our lives spontaneously. Whether you need a taxi, have to book a restaurant table, or want to identify stars in the night sky, you can do it straight away. Finally, they keep us in touch with our friends and family, and the social role they play in a fast-moving society is hugely important. Arguments against. However, there are strong arguments to suggest that what appear to be the advantages of smartphones can also have downsides. One drawback is the cost. Monthly contracts are far from cheap and smartphones tend to become obsolete quickly, so people feel they need to buy the latest model. What is more, they are a constant distraction, as they encourage people to spend hours checking social networking sites when they could be doing something more useful. But perhaps the most significant downside is for working people. On the one hand, smartphones offer great convenience, but they also mean that employees can be contacted by their boss or by customers at any time, even while they are on holiday. Conclusion. C. Introductions and conclusions. Black circle in an essay, it is important that the introduction engages the reader. A good introductory paragraph describes the present situation and gives supporting evidence. It should introduce the topic, but should not include the specific points that you are going to mention in the body of the text. It should refer to the statement or question you have been asked to discuss. This can often be done in the form of a question to the reader, which the subsequent paragraphs should answer. The conclusion should briefly sum up the arguments you have made and can include your personal opinion. The opinion you express should follow logically from the arguments you have presented. It is important that this is not just a repetition of your arguments. It is a summary of what you believe your arguments have proved. Read the introductions and conclusions box. Then look at the 3 introductory paragraphs below and choose which one you think is best for the essay. Compare with a partner. Discuss why you think it is the best and why the other 2 are less suitable. Then do the same with the concluding paragraphs. Introductions. 1. Smartphones dominate the field of personal communications, and nowadays virtually everyone owns one. They have many clear benefits, but do they really make our lives better? 2. Smartphones clearly have important advantages and disadvantages. In this essay, I am first going to analyze the advantages of this technology, and then I will outline some important disadvantages, before finally drawing my conclusions. 3. Can you imagine life without your smartphone? Probably not, as this fantastic technology has become such a crucial tool for our work and social lives. So how did we manage before smartphones were invented? Argument. Conclusions. 1. To sum up, smartphones have both advantages and disadvantages, but all things considered, I believe that their influence is mostly beneficial. After all, we could not live without them. 2. In conclusion, smartphones have improved our lives considerably in my view, especially if you want to use the internet. They are very useful, for example, if you are in a shop and you decide to buy something online instead. 3. On the whole, smartphones are a wonderful tool, but they have both pros and cons, and they have to be used wisely. It is very important that we control them, and not the other way round. Useful language. D. Complete the missing words. Some, but not all, are in the model essay. Expressing the main points in an argument. T. 1. The greatest B. Is that. ... Smartphones give us. 2. First and most an incredible amount of information. 3. One drive of smartphones is the cost. 4. Another significant D to smartphones is that employees can always be contacted. Adding supporting information to a main argument, or introducing other related arguments. 5. In a. 6. What is M? 7. Not O. 8. Another point in. F. That, but. Smartphones allow us to live our lives spontaneously. Is that... dot, dot. Weighing up arguments. 9 on the WH. 10 on B. 11A. In the 12 all things C. Smartphones have both pros and cons. Planning what to write. A look at the essay title below and, with a partner, brainstorm the pros and cons of the topic. Then decide on the 3 main arguments for each side that are relevant to the title. The growth of online shopping has greatly improved life for the consumer. B. Write an introduction for the essay. Follow this pattern. 1. Write an introductory sentence about how important online shopping is. 2. Write a second sentence supporting the first one. 3. Ask the main question that you intend to answer in the essay. C. Compare your introduction with a partner. Together, make a final version. Tips for writing a discursive essay giving both sides of an argument. Brainstorm points for and against, and decide which 2 or 3 you think are the most important. Use a neutral or formal style. Write a clear introduction which engages the reader. An essay is not just a list of ideas and opinions. Link your ideas in a logical sequence. Use phrases to order, contrast, and weigh up the points in your argument. Make sure your conclusion is a summary of what you have previously said and refers back to what you were asked to write about. Writing. Write an essay of between 220 and 260 words on the topic above. Draft your essay. Paragraph 1. Use your introduction. Black circle paragraph 2. Give arguments in favor of online shopping. Paragraph 3. Give arguments against online shopping. Paragraph 4. Write your conclusion, saying whether you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or vice versa. Edit the essay, making sure you've covered the main points, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the essay for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.61. 26. Writing a discursive essay. 2. Taking sides. Key success factors. Constructing an argument. Black circle sustaining your case with examples. Black circle showing that you have considered the opposing viewpoint. Analyzing a model text. You have been asked to write the following essay. Tourism always does a place more harm than good. Discuss the topic with a partner. Do you think that the effect of tourism on a country, city, or region is in general more positive or more negative? Why? Topic sentences. In a well-written essay, the first sentence of a paragraph usually establishes what the paragraph is going to be about. This is sometimes called the topic sentence. B. In pairs, read each topic sentence. S. And imagine how the paragraph will continue. Do you think the essay will be for or against tourism? The infrastructure of an area is also often improved as a result of tourism. B. It is often claimed that popular tourist destinations are spoiled as a result of overdevelopment. C. Tourism is one of the world's great growth industries. D. Another point in favor of tourism is that governments are becoming aware of the need to protect tourist areas in order to attract visitors. E. The main positive effect of tourism is on local economies and employment. Now read the essay and match topic sentences AE to paragraphs 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Tourism always does a place more harm than good. People today are traveling further and further, not only in the summer, but throughout the year. Although some people argue that mass tourism has a negative effect on destinations, in my view, its influences are generally positive. Tourists need places to stay and things to do, and this creates a wide range of jobs for local people. Holidaymakers also spend a great deal of money, which stimulates the economy of the region as well as benefiting the country as a whole. For example, when tourists start visiting an area, roads and public transport tend to improve, or an airport may be built, all of which benefit local people as well as tourists. This is leading to better conservation not only of areas of natural beauty and endangered habitats in rural areas, but also of historic buildings and monuments in towns and cities. For instance, many people argue that tourist development results in ugly hotels and soulless apartment blocks. This may have been true in the past, but nowadays developers recognize that new buildings should blend in with old ones and should not change the character of a place. To sum up, I believe that, on the whole, tourism has a positive influence provided its development is properly planned and controlled. Tourist destinations have a lot to gain from visitors and the business they bring. In my opinion, it is possible for both tourists and local people to benefit and for popular tourist destinations to have a sustainable future. Read each paragraph again, with its topic. Sentence. Answer the questions with a partner. 1. Where does the writer state their overall opinion about tourism? 2. How many arguments are given to support their view? 3. What is the purpose of paragraph 5? Useful language. Using synonyms and richer vocabulary. When you are writing an essay, remember to vary and enrich your vocabulary by using synonyms where appropriate. Find synonyms in the essay for the following words and phrases. 1. Tourists. 2. Effects. 3. For example. 4. In general. Complete the missing words. Some, but not all, are in the model essay. Giving personal opinions. 1 pound. That. 2. If. That. 3. In my V. 4. In my O. 5p. I think that. The influences of tourism are generally positive. Introducing opposite arguments. 6. Some, many people. R. 7. It is often CL. 8. There are TH. People who say. Refuting them. 9. This M. But N. H. 10. There are a number of FL. 11. That is simply not the C. That popular destinations are spoiled by tourism. Been true in the past. In this argument. Planning what to write. Read the essay titles. For each one, decide which side of the argument you're going to take, and think of 3 or 4 reasons with examples. Our lifestyles are less healthy than our grandparents'. The impact of social media on our lives is mostly negative. Compare with a partner. Decide which you think are the 3 most important reasons for each essay. Decide on typical opposing arguments which you could refute. Choose which of the essays you're going to write. Decide on the main paragraphs and write topic sentences for each one. Show your topic sentences to a partner and see if you can improve each other's sentences. Tips for writing a discursive essay where you take one side of an argument. Organize your essay into paragraphs, with a clear introduction and conclusion. P.124. Begin each paragraph with a clear topic sentence and then develop the idea. Use synonyms to avoid repeating yourself. Use a variety of phrases for giving your opinion and introducing an opposing argument and refuting it. Writing. Write an essay of between 220 and 260 words on one of the topics above. Draft your essay. Introduction. Introduce the topic and state your opinion. Main argument. Write 2 or 3 paragraphs giving your reasons and examples. Opposing arguments. Write a paragraph stating one or more common opposing argument. And refuting each one. Conclusion. Sum up, stating what your arguments have shown. Edit the essay, making sure you've covered the main points, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the essay for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.83. Writing a formal email. Key success factors. Black circle summarizing the issue clearly. Using formal language and maintaining an appropriate tone. Being clear about what you want to happen. Analyzing a model text. Have you ever had a very bad experience at a restaurant or a hotel? What happened? Did you make a complaint, either in person or in writing? What response did you get? B. Read the formal email. What exactly are the complaints? C. With a partner, discuss which phrase, A or B, is better for each gap and why. 1. I'm sorry to say. B. I am afraid to say. 2. Did not live up to our expectations. B. Was a complete disaster. 3. Were requested to. B. Were told we had to. 4. Thought was okay. B. Considered reasonable. 5. Fed up. B. Dissatisfied. 6. That is to say. B. I mean. 7. We had been charged. B. You had charged us. 8. They can eat their food. B. Their meal can easily be completed. 9. We are owed an apology. B. You ought to say sorry. 10. Some form of compensation. B. A lot of money back. From A. Knight10798@gmail.com to Manager at Fiorelli's Co. UK. Subject: Complaint. Dear Sir or Madam, I am writing to complain about the meal which my husband and I had on Thursday the 16th of March at Fiorelli's in Regent Street. That the dinner to 1. 2. First of all, according to our online reservation, the table was booked for 7:00 and we 3. Leave the table by 9:00, which we 4. However, the service was extremely slow, and at 8:45, we had only just been brought our dessert. At this point, the waiter not only brought us the bill, but also asked us to hurry, as he would need the table back very soon. This left us feeling extremely 5. 6. 3. Secondly, when we were ordering our meal, the waiter recommended several dishes from the daily specials board and we both chose tagliatelle al tartufo. We assumed that the price of this item would be in line with those on the menu, between £10 and £15. However, when the waiter brought the bill, we discovered that a total of £50, making it more than twice as expensive. When we complained to the waiter, he said that we should have asked the price when we ordered. However, in my opinion, the waiter himself should have pointed out that this dish was considerably more expensive than the other choices. 4. I feel strongly that if customers are given a table which has a time limit, the service should be efficient enough to ensure that within that time. I also think that, while it is understandable that some of the daily specials may be more expensive because of the ingredients used, this should always be made clear from the start. 5. Under the circumstances, I believe that, and that I should receive 10. I look forward to hearing your views on this matter. Yours faithfully, Andrew Knight. Useful language. D. Can you remember how the writer expressed the following in a more formal way? Look at the model email again to check your answers. 1. In this email I want to complain. 2. It said on our online booking. 3. The waiter gave us the bill and asked us to hurry. 4. I really think that if customers are given a table. 5. Considering what happened. 6. I'd like to know what you think about this. Planning what to write. Read a message Hannah sent to a friend. What problems did she have at the Westfield Hotel? Hannah Jones. Semicolon. Just got back from Brighton. That's the last time we stay at the Westfield Hotel. We stayed there a couple of years ago and had a good time, so I booked again for a week in July. The website described it just as I remembered and said you could have bar food in the evening. You know what a pain it is to have to go out with the kids. So I just went ahead and booked. Anyway, when we turned up, we were gobsmacked. The kitchen and bar area were being done up and they said that in fact they were now a B&B and didn't do any food except for breakfast. It was too late to find anywhere else, so we decided to stay, but it was a nightmare. The builders started making a noise at 7:30 in the morning. The breakfast was rubbish, just cold food because the kitchen wasn't up and running. and we had to buy drinks and sandwiches and take them back to our room in the evening for dinner. I tried to complain, but somehow the manager was never there, only reception staff who weren't really responsible and obviously felt sorry for us. So I'm going to email the manager, and if I don't hear anything, I'm definitely going to put something on Twitter. ... 2 hours ago B. You're going to write Hannah's email to the manager of the Westfield Hotel. With a partner. Black circle underline the relevant information in the message. Black circle summarize exactly what you are dissatisfied with. Black circle discuss what it would be reasonable for the hotel to do to compensate you for the inconvenience. Invent any other details you think might be important to include in the email, for example, the exact dates of your stay, the room number, etc. Tips for writing an email letter of complaint. Make a note of all the relevant details you want to include before you start drafting your complaint. Decide what action you want the person you are writing to take. Use appropriate expressions for opening and closing the email or letter. Use a formal style and be clear and assertive, but not aggressive. Use the passive, e.g., we were told, we are owed an apology, etc., to make it more impersonal or to make it clear that you are not accusing individuals. Use a variety of expressions for generalizing and making suggestions. Writing. Write a formal email of complaint of between 220 and 260 words based on Hannah's experience. Draft your email. Introduction. Explain why you are writing. Main paragraphs. Say what the complaint relates to and give the details politely. Summary paragraph. Restate your complaints briefly. Closing sentences. Ask for some action from the hotel. Edit the email, checking paragraphing, cutting any irrelevant information, and making sure it's the right length. Check the email for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and register. P.93.